What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video I want to talk about the rumor that the next state of play for PlayStation is on August 6th. Now, this does make sense. I mean, I'll cut right to the chase. This does make sense. This does seem like it's something that would happen. This is obviously something also that we're going to be able to find out relatively quickly if it's true or false. Now, this comes from the same leaker who's been right before. He's gotten a lot of things right. He's also gotten a lot of things wrong. He's gotten a lot of things wrong more recently. So I've seen out there different websites, even I think Push Square literally called him out, that said like, hey, he said this, but at the same time it's because it's him, we don't necessarily believe it. So it's kind of, it is a tough situation when you are a leaker, right? I like talking about leaks. I think that it's like a coward's way, you could call it, but I like talking about them in the way that I do it because I'm not responsible if it becomes true, if it becomes false, because I'm reporting on what others are saying. It depends on that, for them, for the people that say it, their credibility can easily be crushed or can be, risen depending on if they're right or wrong. So again, let's talk about this a little bit. Firstly, again, because it's this guy, I don't necessarily believe, I'm not going to blindly believe it. Okay, that's the first thing I should say. With that being said, like I said, like less than a minute ago, I think that this is something that's very likely to happen. If it's not August 6th, I think it probably is the first half of August. If you look at it, Jeff Grubb has been saying actually for months now that Sony will have an additional state of play in August. We know Microsoft is probably going to have another, he calls it like Xboxing Day or something like that. They're going to have another one in August as well. August is going to probably be when we're going to get a lot of information for the PS5. Now, are we necessarily going to get the release date and the price at the state of play? It's possible. At the same time, we know from all the rumors of the state of play that it's going to focus again on games. That's going to focus on what we're going to be getting early on in the PlayStation 5 life cycle this fall, right? This launch period. And that makes sense. That's something you have to do. I almost wonder if they could do two things, like maybe at the end of state of play, say the price for the PS5 and say, okay, because remember, they confirmed that they're not going to just spring pre-orders up on us just randomly, right? Maybe at the end of state of play, they say, hey, $450, digital edition is $400, and here's when you can pre-order. You can pre-order it August 15th, let's say, right? I could see that happening at the end of state of play. I don't necessarily know if they would line up the pre-order with the state of play. Maybe they would line up the state of play with announcing all the stuff about the PlayStation 5. You know what I mean? That way they could talk about the games, talk about all that kind of stuff, and then at the very end of it, tease, again, price, release date, and pre-orders, right? I think that makes a lot of sense. I think before we get to the end of August, actually before we get into September, let's say, so let's give them all of August. From what we've heard, I mean, August is going to be the month that we're going to hear release date, price, pre-orders, probably be able to pre-order it. It's going to happen. Now, Gamescom is at the end of August as well, so we have to keep that in mind. But it's going to be, August is going to be insane. There's a lot going on in August. Going to kickstart a very busy September, October, November in terms of game releasing. Also, August does have a couple games as well. I'm pumped. You can probably tell from my voice, I'm honestly pumped. Again, if it doesn't happen August 6th, I do think it'll happen relatively soon. Another thing you have to consider is August 6th is 2 weeks after, 2 weeks today, basically. So 2 weeks after Xbox Game Showcase. Now, Xbox Game Showcase is in just a couple hours at this point, so you got to think that, okay, we're going to have Xbox stealing the show. Okay, and it's fine, by the way, because that's just what happens. PlayStation stole the show when the PS5 reveal was getting closer. When the PS5 reveal happened, everybody was talking about it. Microsoft, obviously, they tweeted some actually kind of funny stuff as well, talking about, their product so that it wasn't completely stolen from them. You look at now, today, the lead up over the last, week or so, it's been all Xbox. And trust me, after today ends, it's going to be all Xbox as well, because I think they are going to show some pretty amazing things. So you look at that and you say, okay, Sony has to counter it. Sony has to do something, actually, I would say relatively quickly, to kind of steal everything back. How can they do that? Well, announce your state of play. And I know some people have been saying maybe they'll even do it right after, literally Xbox Showcase ends, a couple hours later, PlayStation says, hey, that was fun, but join us in 2 weeks for our next state of play. I think that could be pretty funny. That could be pretty cool. You wouldn't steal all the thunder. In fact, you wouldn't even steal most of it, but you would steal some of it, which I think is a very smart decision and honestly something that I think Sony kind of has to do. So again, I think they can announce it today. They can announce it tomorrow. They can announce it over the weekend. Maybe it happens over the next couple weeks. Again, we know in August. Now, August 1st is next Friday, so I don't necessarily think it would be that. The week after that, first full week in August, again, that lines up with this rumor. Week after that, then we would be getting closer to DC fandom. And again, you got to think Microsoft is going to go again. Will they go at the end of August? So maybe PlayStation wants to go in the beginning of August. August. It's tough. It's also tough to think about who is still going to go first in terms of announcing when the console is going to release, so we find out which one's going to actually come out first, and who's going to announce the price first to see if they can beat each other, to see if they, for whatever reasoning, to announce the price, who's going to go first. If Sony does a state of play early August and then Microsoft does one late August, does Microsoft's at late August announce everything? Does Sony hold back and then do it after? You know what I mean? Do they do a very early September one? I mean, eventually, both of these guys, both of these companies are going to have to go. They're going to have to go. They're going to have to announce their release date. They're going to have to announce their price. They're going to announce their pre-orders. And one of them is just factually going to do it first, and then the other one can either beat them or not beat them. I mean, there's really only a couple possibilities, right? But ultimately, we're entering a very, very exciting period. Xbox Game Showcase today. I think it's going to honestly be really, really exciting. I know obviously it's a PlayStation video, but I'm really excited for it. I'm very, very excited for the next state of play. Hopefully this guy is right. Again, he's been wrong a lot recently, which does, call him into question, but he's also been right a lot too. And he calls a lot of different things. So it's not like he's only called like 4 things in his life and he's like 2 and 2, right? He's called a lot of different things. So we'll have to see what ends up happening. But honestly, I think it makes a lot of sense for Sony to announce something very, very quickly. I also think it makes a lot of sense for Sony to do something, like literally have an event very, very quickly. So we'll have to see how the next couple weeks pans out. But August 6th definitely seems like a good possibility to me. Guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think this event is in 2 weeks from now? When do you think Sony would announce the event? All this kind of stuff. Let me know. As always, make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And I do a brand new video every single day on this channel. And so I hope to see you guys for tomorrow's video.